Hi. Am I audible? Yes? Okay. Just before I start, can I just get the feel of the room? How many startups? All of you are startups or investors or interested in AI? I mean, I just want to know. Anybody as startups? No startups. Okay. Investors? Okay. What is the other set?
Started and run for 20 years, yes.
MSME or MSME, you can call it.
Yeah.
Yes. What is it related to?
Money,
Your company?
we manage money,
Wealth.
but
Perfect. And anybody else? What are you guys?
Basically, we are a management consulting firm.
Okay, management consulting firm, software development,
freelance.
freelance. Freelance what? Development. Okay, IT.
Software.
Software. Okay.
Pitch deck agency.
Pitch deck agency. Nice. Okay, great. So I'll be talking about the AI revolution. So I'll just give you a brief. My name is Zubin. I am a investor. What I call myself as a transformation investor. What I do is generally I invest into companies which are already having revenue but are struggling with operational efficiencies, cost structures, capital. So I take over companies, I contribute both capital as well as I get into the management. So as of now, me and my partner, we run this company. We have around 7 companies under us. I have a background in MBA. I graduated out of IIM Kozhikode approximately 16 years back. And I've worked for TCS as a strategy consultant. I was heading marketing promotions for Reliance Retail. And then I started doing consulting/investments. So for the past 5-6 months, roughly, I've been doing AI advisory for larger companies, including Eastern, Aster. So large groups is my advisory consulting clients. And yes, I do invest into startups. I myself have started up an AI advisory firm. So can I start? So I was informed that there would be a lot of startups, and my my deck is more focused towards. So my deck is more towards startups and investors, but of course, budding startups possibly is there. So first point I want to tell is I come from a technology background. I'm a computer science engineer. I've ran IT companies. This is not an IT wave. This is not a technology wave. We are fundamentally changing human behavior. So this is very important when you look at AI as a company. Whether you are implementing AI, whether you are starting up an AI firm, one thing you should know is there is going to be a lot of displacement. There is going to be a lot of changes in how we work. So I'll give you a small example of that. All this while, in 20 years of my career, 70 or 80% of my input used to be, 90% of my input used to be keyboard / WhatsApp, the screen, correct? Now, for the last 4 months, 70% of my input is voice. I have fundamentally changed how I interact with systems. And this is going to go bigger and bigger. So whatever you're trying to do in terms of AI, understand that human behavior is going to change. So what has changed? software now thinks. Until now, we had a software, most of the softwares we used to give a specific question. The software is designed to answer specifically to that question. It could be reports, it could be analytics, you name it. It never goes beyond what is logically put across as the definition of what we are asking. Currently with AI, you are asking something like a human being, you will get very, very different answers depending on how AI is feeling that day. Yes? Second, I mentioned distribution is universal. So whatever AI you are trying to build, it is no more going to be restricted to a particular screen, a form. You are going to interact with AI through WhatsApp, through phone. Technically, sometimes you will not even interact with AI. So there is this recent thing that in 5 to 6 years, agent to agent communication will be greater than human to agent communication. So it's going to go into a state where we'll not even know what is happening directly. Labor is being repriced. One of the fundamental things I want to tell about what is going to happen in next 5 years is, we had a large, big pyramid when it came to knowledge workers. You had a very small set of people who would make decisions. We had a slightly bigger set of people who would do actual knowledge work, analysis, comparison, decision making, strategy creation. And then we had a large set of people who were executioners. Now, executioners itself, you can divide it into two. You can say some of the executioners is follow my command. An example is an accounting executive, a junior level programmer, a junior level graphic designer. All these are, I will do whatever grunt work is given to me. Now, the problem with AI is going to create a lot of jobs, but that job is going to come in the first two layers. That entire layer, which was grunt work, is no more going to be there. And that is going to be a scary proposition because reskilling becomes a question mark. Now, you can always argue that with great technology comes a lot more consumption. But I would say 5 to 10 years later, that consumption will catch up. We are going to have a large amount of displacement in companies, in society as a whole. So this is AI funding. So as of now, we have approximately $250 billion being spent, not spent, being funded, out of which almost 40% is on AI infrastructure. The rest 60% is on AI company development. Let's see how much we are spending. Only 37 billion.
Is it a global figure or?
These are global figures. These are, that is of 2025. 2025, because most of the figures you are hearing is 5 years, 7 years commitment. So, this is your annual figure. And this 37 billion is restricted to just US. We don't have much information outside US. So let's understand what this 37 billion is actually all about. It's split into one, horizontal AI, departmental AI, vertical AI. I'll tell you what it is. It's approximately 19 billion, which is directly your application side of AI. This around 18 billion is for infrastructure or the data side of AI spending. So I'll tell you each what it means. I'll be concentrating on the first three. The second three, I believe it is easy to understand. I'll just tell with a caveat that AI implementation is going to fail primarily because of data. Data is not clear, data is not available in a nice manner, and people are going to implement AI on top of that messy data, and AI is going to fail, and you'll hear a lot of newses, AI has failed, we are bringing back people, blah, blah, blah. Primarily, it is not AI failing, it is AI implementation failing. Now, this is a good stuff, which is, I told that 19 billion of application level AI is, AI spending is happening. Now, in 2024, this was the startups were only 36%. What it means is, the ChatGPTs of the world were only 36%. Rest was incumbents. For example, Microsoft Copilot used to dominate. Similarly, Salesforce's AI would dominate. Now, last year, it has reversed. AI startups are gathering steam. They are getting most of the bigger pies. The incumbents who added an AI layer is going down. So what is horizontal AI? Horizontal AI companies means any AI company serving everybody, regardless of industry, regardless of what their function is. Example, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Servam, Canva, you name it. Doctor, engineer, consultant, everybody is using it. Next is departmental AI. This is specifically for one business or one function. Example, Replit. Replit is used for, I don't know how many people know, it is basically a development coding platform. Salesforce is specifically for sales related activities. 11 Labs is for voice. Cursor is development environment. UI. This is departmental AI. The next is vertical AI. Vertical AI means specifically for one particular industry. Defense, medical. It's a specialized domain. It is one of the most defensible domains. So, who are the investors betting on? Last year, if you look at it, there is at least out of the top 10, at least 4 of them are in defense and defense related activities. AI spending has a lot of strategic value. A lot of money is flowing towards something which is more vertical in nature. So that is where we can actually make money if anybody is interested in starting up. Waymo, I believe anybody has heard of Waymo? No? Okay, Waymo is supposed to replace Uber. Driverless cars, heard of it? Yes. Now it's pretty common in San Francisco. That's it. Okay. They had a problem till now because AI learns on information available on the internet. Now that information is good when it comes to LLMs. But when it came to vision, real world application, AI struggled because you don't have much record of how AI can be trained. So Waymo has been doing that for a while. Now you will see that there is a point wherein you will start seeing Waymo all over the place. It's actually working pretty well. It took 5-6 years to develop that data. Scale AI, infrastructure, defense and automation. I think I'll just go. I'm just worried about what Grammarly raised around 1 billion. I don't know why. It's basically a glorified LLM, at least in my hands. Okay, now the India paradox. We had, roughly 2 years back, we had around 66 AI startups. last year we have around 890 startups. 2 years back, we had a cumulative funding of 606 million. And now we only have 990 million. So we have a lot of startups who has popped up. Nobody is getting any funding, or very limited people are getting funding. So that is, it may be because it is in research phase and it will pick up in a couple of years. But as of now, this is a bad scenario. Who are they? So one of the biggest difference I've seen between Indian investments and global investments is almost all the global investments have been deep tech or vertical AIs with a lot of strategic implications. Most of Indian investments have been consumer related, departmental related, enterprise related. So we are a consumer market, but I am a bit bothered because as you see later on, it is not a very defensible situation because the large LLMs can start replacing some of these companies. Okay, what makes AI startup defensible? This is the baddest form of starting up a AI company, which is I have ChatGPT Claude API. I will create a wrapper on top of it, maybe a good screen, maybe an interface, and communicate. Maybe I'll do some slight changes in how the user experiences, but I don't do much. A lot of vibe coding happens here. Now, the second phase is AIs have a problem even today with instructions. So I'll just give you a brief on what that means. So imagine AI as somebody who has graduated from Stanford, has 10 PhDs, but has never seen the world and is stuck in a bed. Now, what does that mean? I have all the knowledge in the world, but I don't have context. I don't know why I am asked to do something. So that is where prompting comes in. So prompting is nothing but I'm telling, give me a good beverage, or I ask ChatGPT, tell me which is the most tastiest beverage. Now ChatGPT will come up with a stupid answer. Why? Because it doesn't have context. It doesn't know who you are, what is your preference, which market are you talking about, what type of, is it because I want to drink or is it what I want to invest on? So there is no context. So that is where prompting comes in. So, but what I can tell you is prompting is kind of like becoming not a defensible thing. 2 years back, there were people who called themselves prompt engineers. Today, it doesn't exist. Yeah, it has now come up with a larger context called context engineering, loop engineering, but all this will go off. It's the same thing as prompt engineering. Now, workflow embedding. It means that I will bring AI into a set of workflows. Let's take an example of using AI to create content for your LinkedIn. Now, you can use ChatGPT and create a beautiful image. You can ask Claude to write you a beautiful set of sentences. That is not a workflow. Workflow means you will ask AI to go and find out what is the trending topic, ask Claude to write you, ask ChatGPT to give 5 different ideas behind that topic. Claude will select one of the idea and write a beautiful article on it. ChatGPT will again go back and create a beautiful image on it, and another app will post it to your LinkedIn profile. Now that is a workflow, and that to a certain extent is defensible. Now this is proprietary data loop. What does it mean? It means that I have a company, and let's say I have some information related to the company. Let's call it company ABC. I deal with 10 vendors for my procurement. Now, one vendor looks very good, his pricing was great, but for the last 5 years, he agrees with the pricing but delivers it late. There could be another wherein there is a vendor which is costly but gives you great products. So these are all information which gets trapped in a company. The more you have the power to extract this data and change how the AI behaves to you, the better. So what happens is, you feed data, it will give you better insight. That insight will be served again and there becomes a loop. So the better the loop is, more defensible things are. And finally, hard to replace, trust, regulation, physical bottleneck. Physical bottleneck could be IoT, robotics, you name it. Regulatory is, you can go and invest into an AI solution in, say, insurance or health tech. Suddenly you have a regulatory backing. Not anybody can just come in and replace you. And trust is, over a period of time you can gain it. So the worst startups are here, the best startups are here. Founder trap. Impressive demo, but not production ready. This is the biggest concern of vibe coding. Vibe coding is great because it gives you a fancy demo. You don't know what is happening, you don't know the code structure. When something changes, it breaks down, and then you ask Claude, can you find the error and solve it? And generally, that is recipe for disaster. It doesn't mean that you need to be a hardcore techie. It is just that all the vibe coders in the world, please try and learn architecture of software engineering. Not coding, but architecture. This is another thing. I had a client who has a lot of logs of reports which in their factory they maintained for the last 5 years. They want to digitize everything. The problem with those logs is it's scrambled writing. So now Claude is a beautiful thing. It can actually read writings which you have written and forgotten. It still can recognize it better than you. But the problem is, for one page, it costs you 3 rupees. Now the question is, do you want to digitize using Claude if it makes sense? No proprietary edge. This is where the wrapper's prompt comes in. Yes, this is the most disastrous thing. You keep hearing about people getting fired and agents taking over, and then agents messing up and people coming back again. It is a bad practice. What is an ideal scenario is, you take an entire workflow, you know where to put the human. And today's maturity, humans are at least 50 to 60% of that loop. Tomorrow it may become 20 or 30%, but today, do not create fully automated solutions. Believe that pilots will end up with paid customers. I think all startups would know that. This is very important. A lot of times, we take up a particular workflow or a problem which we solve, and we think that we will use AI to improve each line. An example is, we decide that in whatever I said right now, we decided that we will go check out which is the most trending topics. We will ask ChatGPT to give us 5 best ideas behind it, Claude to write it. But what if you don't need to do all that? What if you can just go and ask ChatGPT to come out with a completely different reimagination of an existing topic? Now that is change of behavior. That is, you are not optimizing the same thing you have done. You are saying that I'm not going to function anymore like that. An example is, everybody talks about ERP or enterprise solutions. You'll see all those big forms. Why do you use forms anymore? Why can't I just tell ChatGPT, I have an expense of 10 rupees, I have attached the invoice, go find it out, create an entry. That is possible. So you don't want to recreate something which is already there and make it more beautiful. Sometimes you'll have to completely change how we work. Yes, finding a painful budget line. Yes, so either own a channel, own a process, or at least own data. Hyper localize. Find a niche. This is general startup advice. Do not target everything. Find a possibility of trying to hyper localize. A solid example is Sarvam. Sarvam, how many know Sarvam? Everybody? No? Nobody? Yes, 2, 3. Okay. Sarvam is India's answer to ChatGPT of the world. But the problem is, if you look at benchmarking of Sarvam against ChatGPT, Claude, what you are going to realize is Sarvam's power right now in reasoning is what ChatGPT was 2 years back. Now, how is Sarvam going to compete against ChatGPT? It is not going to compete directly. What it is going to be good at is, it is going to tell that, yes, Cheta, can I have tea? ChatGPT will get confused because Cheta is Malayalam. Can I have tea is English. Sarvam is able to differentiate between these different Indian languages, the combination of it. Now that is going to be the power of Sarvam. Sarvam also is trying to make sure that they are a India first AI. That means all the data is going to be inside India. So Sarvam is trying to hyper localize LLMs to India. It may work. Design for reliability, integrate human loops. I have already discussed that. Same thing. Okay. I'll tell you a few AI failed stories to get an idea of what fails. There was a pin called Human AI pin. So basically what it did was, you have something like this which can be put onto your near your chest, and it doesn't have a screen, but if you place your hands here, the laser will hit and the screen will come. It completely activated on voice, but it failed because it was trying to replace smartphone, but it didn't have all the apps of a smartphone. It had bad battery. It just couldn't compete. I would say the only way it could have competed is if it was an add-on function like your smartwatch. Now, I think OpenAI is coming out with something like that in the next 3 to 4 months. They're creating some form of hardware AI assistant. Let's see what happens. NeuroPixel AI. It is a startup which tried to optimize and create good images for your e-commerce companies. E-commerce company has a product, specialized in it. What happened? Nano banana happened. ChatGPT image happened. They are no more there. Anybody heard of Chegg? Yes. You work for Chegg? Oh. That's painful. Chegg is here. At one point, It had a net revenue of 800 million. Now it is God knows how much. It's less than 100 million. Why it failed? Because it had a simple proposition. It helped school kids with their answers to their questions. So it generated beautiful explanations. So if a kid asked a particular question in their standard, Check would give a beautiful answer. Now, what has happened? Gemini happened. ChatGPT happened. See what has happened here. Share price when LLM happened tanked in 2021. That same time, Chegg's revenue increased. This is a story of market will capture it before your company fails. The market already knew that it's not going to happen. The only reason that revenue stayed was they had long-term contracts with schools and universities. Okay, what will be the future? I'll start with horizontal AI. This is low frontier model. This side means the LLMs of the world will not touch me. As it goes this side, LLMs can touch me. This is, I don't have a dominant workflow, a proprietary algorithm or something. As it goes up, I have something stronger. So, some of the things, anybody heard of Gamma? Gamma has been a very beautiful PPT maker. It's getting destroyed by Claude Design and Canva. Yes? Why? Because it was just doing one small stuff which an LLM could. I like this. Microsoft 365 Copilot. I have a feeling that Microsoft is going to be destroyed. Office. Only because they have failed to integrate ChatGPT nicely into their Copilot. They have their own system still in place, and it is very bad. So people like me have stopped using Excel, stopped using PowerPoint. So this particular PowerPoint is in Microsoft PowerPoint, but I downloaded it from Canva. So I don't use Office anymore. And I'm pretty sure that most people will follow that soon. Unfortunately, in some companies, you're still in the Microsoft ecosystem, so you're stuck. But soon it will go off. Departmental AI. Anybody heard of 11 Labs? Yeah? Voice agents. We have been building up 11 Lab agents. If you can see that, nice, beautiful Mallu accent, Malayali English accent can come out of 11 Labs or Hindi accents. Or you can train your own voice. In 3 hours time, they can replicate your accent, how you accentuate words, and they can talk like you. But the problem is, ChatGPT and the Geminis of the world is already doing that. So one of the problems which you will see in agents is, I talk to an agent, it will take some 10 seconds for it to come back because it's processing. But now ChatGPTs of the world is, in 6 months time, you will have conversational AI in its best. So gone. You're not going to even type to ChatGPT. You're going to drive and talk to ChatGPT as the personal therapist. Vertical AI. I'll give you an example of Harvey. Harvey is a legal AI. They try to take up common case laws and then they gave easy access to lawyers to research on. Claude has come out with Claude for lawyers. Gone. It's simple. You didn't have a proprietary software. But there's something called Thomson Reuters Co-Counsel. They are also in the same thing. The only difference is they have proprietary data. They have, what they do is they have editors who looks at every case which is happening and creates a lot of information out of the case. And that is getting fed up into their database, which is proprietary. Harvey didn't have that. So Harvey failed. So incumbents will win on stability bundle products, large scale deployment. Startups will win by reimagining workflows. Thank you. Any questions?
I'm a presentation and pitch deck designer. So I started my journey as what you have said as the execution level designer on Fiverr. So recently in August I got like a vetted pro badge and my scale got sales got 10x. Okay. So what I'm saying is you said PowerPoint is going to die or Microsoft Copilot is going to die. So my answer to that they are also embedding the add-ons of Cloud and ChatGPT and in addition to Copilot as well. You can write it any prompts if you need. You can write it in Cloud or ChatGPT inside PowerPoint itself.
So have you used it?
Yeah, I'm using
How
it on a daily
effective
basis.
how effective it is compared to getting a Claude design and getting it done?
What I'm saying is Cloud is better in terms of Copilot. Copilot is
Correct. And what I'm saying is you can do two things. You can go to Claude and ask, create a deck in this manner.
Yes.
These are the requirements. You can go to PowerPoint, open up, Claude plugin.
It will not work like that.
It will not work.
Yes.
That is the problem.
So now the clients are trusting with us as a company to be their pitch deck strategist, not like a
Strategist.
Yes. So
That works.
That idea is working.
That works. So any graphic designer, any content writer is gone. But graphic designer can go into a visual architect. Content can be a content strategist. You need to upgrade yourself to survive. That is one. Second, see, all tools right now are in the process wherein in 3 months' time you will be using something else. Sorry. I'll give you an example. January, I was using Claude. February, halfway or March, I started using Nano Banana. April, I started going to ChatGPT because Codex came in, it was flying. Now, I have gone to ChatGPT image. I don't touch Nano Banana at all. So, the only thing you can do is, if you are an expert in a particular field, learn all the new AI tools and survive the wave. Somewhere it is going to replace us.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Question is, let's replace it late. Any other questions?
Now, I think you beautifully narrated the use case kind of a thing in the first half and then maybe grade out the infra part of that at the bottom.
Yes.
I think there is a sustainability of the business lies, right? So the infra part of that, which India is not able to cater up to. So now we all talk about LLMs or large models. Is there a real need and possibility for SLMs or TRMs, tiny resource models, which can have the infrastructure controls much better at a low cost, tokens contained. At the same time, the other sustainable factors like cooling and those kinds of things is better distributed. So, do you see a possibility out there?
So this is my personal opinion. I think as the large models, the frontier models get better, I think the likes of pure SLMs will die. in the sense that as you go closer towards AGI or artificial general intelligence, I can talk about it later, it has been demonstrated that some of these highly specialized AIs are getting ripped by Claude and ChatGPTs. So I'm not sure about that. What I want to tell is all these frontier models will become a commodity in another 2 years, which means that I don't need further levels of Claude to do very beautiful programming. Right now, Claude, Opus and Fable will get most of my 90% applications done. So at that point, there is a commoditization of LLMs. In that sense, India doesn't need its own LLM. But there is another side to it. Frontier models will decide whether you'll cure cancer, whether there is a beautiful alternative energy source, whether you have defense. So as a strategic asset, if India does not invest in infrastructure, we will be like, I always like to take that, what is going to happen is very similar to what happened with nuclear energy. After 3-4 years, US, Europe and China will come and say nobody else can create any further LLMs. Or you will be like the Rafaels of the world, you don't have technology, they will not give you the technology, they will decide how much to give you technology. So there are two sides to the coin. The second side is scary, the first side is practical.
No, but if you take the journey of a cloud transformation that you are seeing, there are hyperscalers, they just sweep the world, but on-premise versions continue. Of course, later you have some deviations, but still the localization and on-premise continues. So SLMs being localized onto an enterprise, will that sustain the relevance?
It will sustain for the next 10 years. The question comes in, again, the cloud. Now most of the infrastructure is in cloud. There is still on-premise, but those are all niche cases. Regulated industries definitely, small businesses yes, but cloud is completely dominating. The only question is when. So it can take 5 years, 10 years. Most of the new, the smaller models can run on your phone, yes. So yes, there are cases for that. But what I'm trying to say is, on a larger scale, India has to develop their own 100 billion plus a trillion parameter AI.
So does that going to come down or like?
Do you want my diplomatic answer?
Yes,
Diplomatic.
I want your honest answer.
I don't think so it will survive. The same way, I don't think so. I was a consultant for at least 5-6 years. I don't think so normal consulting will not survive.
Design or strategy?
Strategy yes, but again, it's a weird thing, okay. I'm an investor. I get hundreds of decks a year. I should sit and check through all the decks. Now I let AI do it. Now AI will create the deck and AI will check the deck.
What does that? I don't
Huh?
know. What does that do? Sorry.
Correct.
So but we raised it to $1 million. So
No, I'm not saying that.
like through only the freelance platform. So I thought like there will be a high.
No, the problem is it can become like a check unless you graduate into a strategy level. Of course, there is, so everybody says that nobody is going to replace creativity, human creativity. But I'll tell you, except for the top 1% creative people, the websites created by Claude is amazing. It looks gorgeous. It need not be human ingenuity. Some weird accent problem. But 99% it is good enough. So you'll still have the Picassos of the world, but not the normal artists. But yes, you can look at strategy. But again, I'm worried.
So yeah, we are like in a reposition phase. So changing to the to the strategies.
Anybody wants to know what AGI is? You have some next one, of course. I'll tell you something nihilistic. Okay, so right now we are in the phase of what people call ANI, Artificial Narrow Intelligence. Claude, ChatGPTs of the world is good, better than us in some edge cases. ChatGPTs of the world in IQ level, it is standing somewhere close to 135, which is roughly 2% of the total population. Now, are they as good as us? No. But in all the knowledge tasks which have been prescribed, all this, I think the study was done on the top 75% job roles available. It stood at 135. There is a possibility that in the next 2 years, some people say 5 years, it will reach a space wherein it will exceed the combined intelligence of the world. I'll tell you how it works. Let's assume it reaches 170, 180. The thing with AI is it can have 100 million versions of the 170. Now it is getting trained by us. It will reach a point where we have nothing to do with it. And that is what is called the pivoting point, where ANI becomes AGI. And AGI in the Prashnam, what they are forecasting is the AGIs, the 170 IQ people, will start researching to try and make themselves smarter. And it will reach 200, 250. Now, it's a common joke I have. Anybody knows what is the IQ of a chimpanzee? It's roughly around 50. There are multiple versions of what IQ stands for, but call it 50. An average human being is 100. So we have around 50 IQ points better than chimpanzees. Imagine a 180 IQ AI. In some random world, if we ask what will AI do to us, the answer is, can chimpanzees tell what we are going to do to them? Yes, I think that is right. Yes. Okay, right. Thank you.
For your perspectives on the evolving AI landscape, building defensible businesses, and understanding the investor mindset have given us valuable takeaways to reflect on. On behalf of TiE Kerala, we sincerely thank you for taking the time to be with us today and for sharing your expertise with our community. As a small token of our appreciation, we would like to present you with a memento. I would like to invite Nasif sir, but I think he went, that's what I'll just call him.